What's up everyone, Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick, and I'm going to kick off our top 20 albums of 2020 with an EP list. I wanted to get some EPs out there just because didn't want to mix them up with the full lengths to kind of a separate thing, and there's been some really good EPs that came out this year that I definitely think deserve their own light. 2020 has sucked. This year can just fuck right off. I can't wait for 2021. God, I hope that's fucking better. I don't have a tremendously positive outlook on that, but I mean, this year's sucked enough for 2 years. But the music has been solid, and I'm gonna go over my top 10 EPs of this year. So let's get this started. Tombstoner, Descent into Madness. I picked this up on a whim. I think it was actually due to Classy Lonnie. He actually covered this EP, and I was like, dude, that sounds pretty awesome. Checked him out on YouTube, and I ordered this immediately. This is straight up old school death metal with cool little hardcore and thrash nods, big hooks, loads of groovy breakdowns. This pretty much just kind of appealed to like when I initially got into death metal. Like, it had all those elements that I really liked. And it's very meat and potatoes, it's very straightforward. The entire thing is just one all-out attack. The last track, Descent into Madness, has an incredible breakdown that just has a groovy stomp that is inescapable. I jammed this a hell of a lot. This is a solid EP, and if you haven't checked this out, definitely check it out. Vivisect, self-titled. I saw this on Gore Grinder's channel a while ago, and this is only a 3-song EP. Granted, the first track is an intro, but both the songs in here are absolutely killer. This is an unsigned band, death metal from New Jersey, straight up old school death metal, very much along the lines of like Tomb Mold and Witch Vomit, both bands I absolutely love, and these guys definitely embody that sound. Really murky production, loads of great riffs, great melodies, but it's just heavier than hell, brutal. Absolutely love this EP. I've jammed, well, both the songs, and yeah, I kind of skip over the intro, but whatever. But definitely want to see more from these guys. Someone should definitely sign this band because I think there's a lot of potential in here. And if you love old school death metal, definitely check this out. Hanayana, Death of the Cosmic. This is their new EP. This is a, I guess, atmospheric death doom / melodic death doom band. Came out on Napalm Records, and I absolutely love the sound. This is just bleak but melodic death doom. Lush melodies across the board. It has a great depressive feel, but it's catchy. There are loads and loads of hooks on this. The atmosphere is great, very similar to like Paradise Lost or My Dying Bride. And these guys just know how to write with great dynamics. I absolutely love this EP, and I was kind of shocked because I generally stay away from like more overproduced stuff, but I really liked how this sounded, and it really emotes well. It's fiercely depressive, it's a giant bummer, but it's really good. And I mean, if you love like melodic death doom, you should definitely check this out. It's a solid listen. Exhumed and Gruesome, Twisted Horror. This is their split EP that came out this year, and both bands firing on all cylinders, and namely that's because they have Matt Harvey, who's just absolutely, you know, a killer dude in death metal and pretty much metal in general. Both Exhumed and Gruesome have killer offerings. I think the Exhumed side's a little bit stronger, but the Gruesome side still whoops ass. Gruesome pretty much knows how to write a death song almost as well as Death, or as well as Death did, and Exhumed is still that thrashy Carcass worship. This EP is just flat out fun to listen to. All the songs are high energy, loads of riffs, blast beats, great harmonies. I mean, it's everything you love about death metal and death grind pretty much on one little EP, and pretty much everything you like about Matt Harvey if you're a big Matt Harvey fan like I am. Absolutely killer release. Short offering. I'm hoping for future full lengths from both because I love both of these bands to death. So if you haven't listened to this one, definitely check it out. This was a lot of fun to just flat out jam. Check it out. Church of Disgust, Consumed by Slow Putrefaction. I got this when I was pretty much raiding Maggot Stomp's Bandcamp, and I jammed these guys and straight up old school death metal, fierce nods to Autopsy, a lot of that obituary groove. Great atmosphere, and definitely a fair amount of Lovecraftian horror. Pretty much checked all the boxes for me. 4-song EP. All the songs are absolutely killer, especially Drowned in Eldritch Slime. But flat out, it is well executed old school death metal with a lot of energy to it and a lot of fun. I love the D-beat drives that are behind it. It's just riffy as hell, and you would just want to keep moving when you listen to it. Only downside is it's kind of short, but then again, their EPs are all kind of short. This whoops ass, definitely one of my favorites of this year in terms of short offerings. Check it out. Scour, Black. Yeah, you probably know we actually felt pretty strongly about this one since we reviewed it. Phil Anselmo, screaming and growling his guts out. Pretty much half of Misery Index, also laying down big riffs, and Adam Jarvis's drum work is insane. I was tired for him after listening to this. Predominantly black metal, but there are definitely some death metal touches. This is just extreme across the board. Phil's vocals on this are terrifying, and I hope his voice actually survived the recording of this so he can do more, because Scour absolutely whoops ass. Absolutely nasty, hostile listen. It just brims with hatred and darkness and all the good things about metal. If you haven't jammed this one, you got to check it out just to hear Phil lose his voice and possibly his mind during the recording of this. Absolutely killer EP. Crypt Worm, reeking gunk of abhorrence. I still love the fact that this band used the word gunk. It's underused. Everyone uses like slime and whatever else. Gunk is good. Anyway, this is an awesome death metal band that is just steeped in gunk. It sounds filthy. It sounds swampy. It's very much in that kind of realm of like incantation, but also a lot of that sort of autopsy punky sound. It's just awesome. This came out on Pulverized Records this year, and I've been hooked on it. It's just fun to listen to. It sounds like it was recorded in a mausoleum that was also in a swamp, in a cavern, in a cave. It just sounds echoey, you know, loads of reverb, but it's a lot of fun to listen to, and it's just flat out disgusting. Definitely check this out. This is one of my favorite, you know, short offerings this year for sure. Nissanpharos. I picked up the Telemark EP earlier this year, and I thought it was really good, and then when I heard all the songs that are on this, I was really blown away. This is Isan really pursuing sort of the softer side or more atmospheric side of what he usually does. And this is more about mood and melody. In fact, there are no harsh vocals on this, I believe. I don't remember a single second on here that there were harsh vocals. And I didn't mind that because Isan can croon. And the songwriting is absolutely top notch. It has that sort of depressive quality you'd hear, and again, like Paradise Lost or Catatonia, but it also has almost sort of like a Tool-like atmosphere. And cover songs. He does really great cover songs. So granted, on Telemark, I believe he did Wrathchild, which was awesome. This one, he went completely opposite end of the spectrum. Covered Portishead with Rhodes. I believe that's Portishead. I'm pretty sure it is. And then Aha's Manhattan Skyline with the vocalist from Leprous, who has a vocal range that is really hard to describe, but it's incredible. And amazing songs, all of them. All the originals on here are amazing. The covers are really good. Solid stuff. And I like the fact that he's sort of branching out and trying a lot of different things. And I don't know if this is like really a grab at being more accessible, but I don't care because it's really good. And if you like really cool atmospheric sort of depressive music, check this out. It's absolutely brilliant. Carcass, Despicable. You probably knew it was going to be on here. We pretty much telegraphed it. Reviewing this EP was almost as much fun as listening to it. This is Carcass firing on all cylinders and kind of going back and like going over like little bits of their career in terms of like stuff they did on like Swan Song, Heartwork, Necroticism. Not so much, you know, the earlier albums, but there are notes of that, and I love the songwriting on here. The riffs are great. The leads are absolutely scorching. You know it's Carcass as soon as you listen to it. If you didn't have the cover or any of that, you had no idea someone was put on a Carcass CD and you love Carcass, you would hear this and recognize that it was Carcass immediately. This is an awesome teaser for what is to come because their new album will come out next year. And man, does this get me excited for whatever this full length is going to bring, because if it's anything like this EP in terms of the song quality and variety, I am beyond excited for 2021, not just because 2020 will officially be dead and buried and I will shit on that grave, but Carcass in 2021. but we got the small offering in 2020, and it's absolutely awesome. And finally, my favorite EP of this year, Living Gates, Deathlust. This is pretty much just kind of like a passion project between members of Amen-Ra and Yob. They pretty much just got together and decided, hey, you want to write some old school death metal? And yeah, that was pretty much it. Now, one of the coolest things, I think at least, about this is I saw Yob on tour with Amen-Ra, so I might have actually seen them when they were still like just talking about doing this, and they nailed it. This has all that wonderful like Tampa sound. Like, this is very Tampa. Loads of stuff that is very Morbid Angel. Great riffs, amazing leads. The energy is all over the place. I love how each song is very different. Loads of like just really cool technical play. Like, this pretty much checks off everything I love about death metal in a small package. Now granted, this is relatively long EP, 6 songs, but they counted it as an EP, and I'm going to leave it on this list because if it was counted as a full length, it'd be more difficult because it would be on my year-end list on that one, because this is absolutely amazing. One of my favorite little legit surprises this year, Living Gate. I know the other bands' schedules are busy, but I would love to hear a full length because you clearly have the chops. The songwriting on here is absolutely top-notch, and this is flat out my favorite EP of this year. All right, well, that is a rundown of my favorite EPs this year, and I'm going to get to work on the full lengths. Oh my God, there's a lot to go through and a lot to say about them, but honestly, I can't wait because this is one of my favorite times a year when I get to go over all the great music that came out. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We will catch you later.